Hey, Dee brings you this week's Weight Watchers weekly meeting technique. From what I know, I'm one of the few people that do that. So if you've not heard it or you're online only, this video is for you. And I would love if you hit that subscribe button. Join us here. It is totally free. Hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoy the video, leave me a comment and hit that thumbs up. So without further ado, let's roll that fabulous footage. Hey, it's time to Dish with Dee. That's me. Thank you for this video, making yourself a priority. I am Denise. Happy Monday. Happy January 26th. I'm going to put my weight in there before I forget. So happy. Oh, we had a storm here. We had it bad. We had, well, I shouldn't say we had it bad. People are getting worse than we are. So the snow totals did go down for us. We were supposed to get between 8 and 12. I think we got maybe 6, 7, 8 at the most, and that's really stretching it. But then the ice came, and honestly, it didn't look this morning as bad as I thought it was going to look. Now, the streets are covered. There's some kind of tire lines, but I think it could have been worse. I do. I think a lot of people got it worse than us. So I think we're not too bad. We haven't been out yet. But here's the fun fact. The temperature's not going to get out of the 20s. Maybe early 30s. That's about it for the week. So I don't know how much melting is going to happen. And that's the downside. Like, you can live with this if it starts to melt and go away. But I don't know. And our temperatures all week are going to be really low. So I digress. But I did share in my Facebook group. If you not belong to that, it's down in the description box below. Dish with Dee's crew. We'd love to have you over there. And this is a nice little community support. We can chit chat. And I just started a chat, which is separate from the group. It's like in the messenger section. And this way, if you have like you need extra support, you're having a bad day, you're out and you need, I just want to, because sometimes doing that, I don't want it to, if you just want to talk to each other, I don't want that clogging up the feed of the group. And it's just separate. I think it's a great thing. So again, that's a bonus. And let's get to my weigh-in. What did you expect this week, Dee? Well, I didn't know what to expect. I had a decent week. And here's the fun fact. I used to get weighed on, well, it was originally Fridays, and it went to Thursdays. Now I've been, since January, I've been getting weighed on Monday, which is a new thing I've never gotten weighed on a Monday. But I felt like I needed that extra discipline on the weekends. Not that I don't go loosey-goosey, but sometimes when you have too much freedom, at least for me, it doesn't work out great. So has it been hard? It has been. Because weekends, everybody's home. Like, especially yesterday, we were all home. We were hunkered down. And I made a big old pot of, I think it's Skinny Taste. White pumpkin chicken turkey chili, something like that. A big vat of it. So it's 0 points. So I was really happy with that. It was turkey. There's pumpkin in there. There's white beans. I added some chopped up onion and bell pepper because I like that in my chili. But I made a big pot of it. We had corn chips. The boys, what did they have? I thought they had something else. I don't know. Oh, Steve made queso dip. And they had soft pretzels. And that's a hard one because I'm from Philly. A girl loves a good soft pretzel. But with the gluten, it's, I think there's a place in the area that there's bakeries that sell gluten-free soft pretzels. I want to check those out. Or maybe try making, I don't want to make my own. No, I'm not going to be that, no, I'm not doing it. I'll go to a nice store, a nice bakery that does it for me. Because I'm not going to get 12 of them. I just want one. So it'll all work out. I do gluten because I have 2 markers for gluten sensitivity. Could I get celiac down the line? Maybe, but right now we are just sensitive to gluten. So I don't recommend gluten-free unless your doctor told you to do gluten-free because it's not better. It's not healthier. You're not going to lose more weight on it. But you should be checked if you think you have a gluten intolerance. You should definitely be checked for it. Well, all that being said, how'd you do, Dee? I was down a pound. Yes, I was like, yay. I'm shocked. I'm going to be honest. I'm shocked to have that consecutive weigh-ins for like the last 4 weeks. I've had 2 pounds, 1.2, 0.8, and 1.0. Like that's at my weight. That's really, and I've been eating. I've been like having around 1,400 calories a day. I've been going over my points a little bit. not every day, but like certain days when we go out. Like we went out to Chili's on Tuesday, and I got something I always would get. It was I think it was some kind of a bowl, and it had chicken and it had rice. It definitely good for gluten free. And there was like avocado and salsa and, and cheese. And then when I put in the thing, I was surprised it was 25 points. I didn't check, because here's the thing. I just wanted something that was gluten free, and I just realized that sounded like a good option. And in reality, it was. We need to do a video on, why points kind of obscure our thinking. If you want that, let me know. I feel like sometimes if I looked at that before, would I have ordered it? Well, here's the thing. I had it and I still lost this week. So really, and I kept, when I first saw it, because I tracked it later, and I went, oh. I couldn't track it then because the boys were there. We were just, it was some conversation. And we also went out on Saturday night, this past Saturday, and trying to eat. Certain restaurants do not cater to gluten-free. Some do, some don't. This one did not. So I had to get something and it was an Italian place. So it's all about the pasta. Phew, let me tell you, your girl loves, but it's not the pasta that gave me the problem. It was they had semolina rolls. That, my lovelies, was difficult. I did not indulge. I ordered, the special was a steak with risotto, and that's what I went with. And it was good. And we had an appetizer of burrata and roasted peppers. So I thought that's, again, but would have been good. Would that have been good on the bread? It would have. But you know what? I'm like, no. And honestly, I don't really say where it was easy, but I didn't feel myself like trying to like take a little piece. I'm like, what, I can't. It's fine. It is what it is. But yeah, all in all, I was really happy. So that's 2 days of eating out, really dense meals. But Saturday, I just had a really good breakfast. I had a snack for lunch, and then we had dinner. I don't think we went out anymore. We were supposed to go out Thursday, but we didn't. But so that was really good. Like I said, and I think when I tracked the steak, it came to, it was ridiculous. I think it was like 40 points or something, because it knew it was saffron risotto. Because I'm like, wow, how'd you know that? Because I did the picture and I uploaded it because it was just easier. It was ridiculous. I'm like, wow. But you know what? We were out, but here we go. I didn't starve myself. I ate. It's not like I only ate dinner. I mean, I ate breakfast and a snack, so I was pleased. So anyway, let's get into this week's Weight Watchers weekly meeting technique. It's the non-negotiable list. Oh, I like this one. Having a non-negotiable gives you a solid baseline for your no matter what habits. These keep you grounded and moving forward even on tough days. Using if-then tools support your plan and a backup plan. If X happens, then I'll do Y. So that was the thing for me. When I tracked that thing, I'm like, well, we're just going to make sure we're a little more diligent the next day. Research tells us, studies show that guidelines are more effective at prompting new healthy eating behaviors rather than stopping unhealthy ones. So sometimes we can tailor our unhealthy ones, like to sit there and say, I'm never going to have cheesecake. I'm never going to have dessert. Is that reality? It's not. So how do we tailor that? Implementing intentions are guidelines people make ahead of time and know how they act in specific situations. For example, I order a mimosa for brunch. I'll get eggs instead of pancakes. Like, you make the swap. Like, if I'm going to have a cocktail, I'm going to order like a 0-point option. And definitely much lower points, and you got protein in there. I mean, the pancakes are just carbs. They're dead calories, really. So you decided to give that to the mimosa. Like, that's a lot of things I do. Like, well, if I have this, I'm going to have that. Like, I always make sure that there's some sort of starch on my plate. Because if that restaurant only offered pasta, I don't know if I would have went, because I wasn't going to get pasta, but I know I needed a starch. To sit there and just have, a protein and vegetables is great, but I know it's not going to keep me full. And that's the whole idea. I don't need to be looking around for food a few hours later. Creating and implementation intentions reduces our needs to spend energy mulling over what to do, because a decision has already been made. Like, you have to go in with a plan, like, especially like the chip basket. I did indulge in some chips on Tuesday, just in case you were wondering. I did. They were corn. But here was my easy plan. Timmy was with us, and Timmy loves chips too. So I knew that I couldn't have as many as I normally do because he was going to be there to have the lion's share, which is exactly what happened. So I'm like, okay, if I have chips, then I make sure Timmy's with me. That's a win. Oh, the techniques guideline techniques. Creating if then guidelines is a great tool to support in any situation, but especially when we are bombarded with lots of decisions to make at the moment. Using guidelines we can move easily makes decisions when we're in a cold state from the comfort of our own recliners before we face with the in the moment decision. If, when, blank, then blank. If I eat a high point dinner, then the next day I'm going to be a little bit more diligent. If I know I'm going out to dinner, I'm going to make sure I eat 0 points in the morning and lots of protein. If we go out to dinner, I make sure that I have food before I go and not go there starving. Starving Denise makes bad choices. And why should I starve? That's not normal. To sit there and that's not. That's basically a bad relationship with food. If you have to starve all day to go out to eat, then there's an issue. There is. You have to be able to not fear food. You have to be able to realize that I could have vegetables. I could have salad. I could have protein like some eggs or some chicken. It's not going to, run me off the rails. You have to get that into slight perspective. Is that hard? Sure it is. I'm not going to tell you it's easy. It takes work. It takes discipline. It takes using these techniques and using what we're given and the tools that we have. Sometimes I will eat if I track. That's a good way of getting a good tracking habit because you don't get to eat unless you track it first. So if you're a person who's a very bad tracker, try that. That's how I got started being a really good tracker because my reward was eating. So if I tracked that, I could eat. It just makes life, and I'm telling you, it doesn't take you that long to track. People when I hear people complain about tracking, it doesn't take that long. Especially now in the app, especially for Weight Watchers, it has all your previous things listed. So if you're somebody that has sort of the same idea or the same foods, it's going to be right there. You just have to just put it in. So I think we'd rather make an excuse than do the work. I'd rather complain about, oh my God, tracking. Oh my God, it's not. It's, if you want to see results, that's what you have to. You have to know what you can eat and know when you have to stop. If you're not tracking, you don't know any of that. That's all information that can help you. People say, oh, I track to lose, and I raise my hand and I go, I track to eat. And she's never thought about that. I'm like, yeah, because I know if I track, I know what I have left, to have, or I could, if I know we're going out to dinner, if I was smart enough, which I wasn't this week, I should have pre-tracked. This way I knew how the rest of my morning and afternoon could have went. I guess I wasn't sure where we were going on Tuesday. Not that I make an excuse because we didn't know till later. And I always know I can get a good option there. They also have a couple of light options. I think Applebee's has better ones though. Because a lot of the restaurants, at least over here, they give the calories on the menu, which is sometimes scary. You're looking at a salad and it's like 1,200 calories for a salad. You gotta watch your cheese, you gotta watch your croutons, and you gotta watch your dressing. So it's so much better if you're going to get that salad, put the cheese, the croutons, and the dressing on the side. I'm not telling you not to have it. I'm just telling you to control it more because 99% of the time, that's where your points come from. And if they have protein, they also allow for the cooking of that. It's probably even though it's grilled, there's some little something on it. So not that I don't quibble about that, but some people do. But yeah, so definitely anything like cheese, they're using full fat, cheap cheese. So you're not using your light cheese or whatever. You don't know how much it is because it's all spread in the salad. So I love getting it on the side. So at least I can gauge how much is there and how much I want to use. Same thing with dressing. No, I don't bring my own dressing places. I know some people do. I'm willing to have less of the nice high fat dressing occasionally. I choose less of it. And people do the DDP, dip, don't pour, where you get your salad and you dip. That's fun if you like that. I prefer to measure my dressing so I know how much I have and I put it on there. You'd be surprised how less dressing covers the same amount of lettuce. You just have to, Steve laughs because I taught him this actually. You put your, and then you just keep, cutting and tossing. And you'd be surprised how it covers the whole salad. It does. It does. So just being creative in your thinking. And a lot of, like I said, we want to be the people that say, I'm not having that. So you have to find a way to, like, if I do this, then I do this. So it has to be, this versus this. Like, it's a birthday party. If I'm going to the birthday party and I have cake, then I'm going to have, less carbs at that meal, or I'm going to make sure I eat 0 point foods before I go. Like, always give yourself something positive in there, and don't always say, I'm not having cake. That's negative. I'm not going to eat that. It's negative. Negative never wins. Positivity is what you look for. And if we keep treating ourselves in a negative state, you're just always going to have this negativity towards food. Food should not be like, oh, it's not food's fault. It's not the food's fault that we gain weight. It's not the food's fault that we're over points. It's not the food's fault that we, didn't lose this week. It's our fault. So we have to own that and own the choices that we make and stop being so tight with everything. You can't go from overeating to not eating enough. That's not healthy. You have to have a better relationship with food and realize that food just needs its place and it needs to be controlled. Like, at least for me, I know for me, I never had control. I don't know. If you asked me what I ate when I gained weight, I couldn't tell you, because I would just put what I wanted, never looking how much it was. It was too much, obviously. And then when you look at the bag, I don't think I have anything. Maybe this will work. If you look at any item, it always says 2 servings per container. Like, you can't eat the whole, well, you can, it's fish, but the serving is 2, and it gives you the serving size for the points. Like, if this was a point, it's not a pointed item, but if it was, it would say the serving size is 1/3 cup. Do we ever look at the servings? Even like box mac and cheese, you could have it. You just have a serving, or even half a serving. Wouldn't you rather have half a serving than no serving? And you can say, oh, I can't stop. Tell yourself you're going to get to have it again. The times that we binge eat is when we don't have it. And that's what binge eating comes from, denial. When you deny yourself something, it makes it, that much more better. So for me, it's just making things lighter. So you see on my channel, I do cakes, I do dips, I do muffins, I do donuts, because I like that. So for me to sit there and say, it's not healthy, I'm never eating it, is unrealistic. It is, because you can make things lighter. Are they as good as the original? I would say no. Are they, though? Don't even hit that out button yet. Are they good enough? And you'd be like, yes. Does it hit the note that you want? It will. And when you realize, when you don't expect that food to be something that it's not, that's when the magic happens. When you're sitting there going, this doesn't taste like, it's not supposed to taste the same because it's lighter. But is it still good? Like, we have to get that scale different than saying it's either just, like, when you lighten up a recipe, it's never going to be just like it, because it can't be. It's lower in fat. It's lower in, what I try, big sugar. That's what I'm looking for. So yeah, it's not going to taste the same. But stop yourself and say, do I like it? Is it good enough? And I guarantee you'll be like, yeah, it's pretty good. And that's all you're looking for. You're not looking for it to compete, because it's not going to, and it shouldn't. That's the thing where we just want these light things to be just the same, and they're not. When you're subbing out applesauce for oil in a recipe, it's going to change it. It is, but is it still good? It is. Is it the same? It's not, nor should it be, because oil is not applesauce. So that's the way I would run that home with you. And if somebody put a comment, and I thought was really cool, I think this says, at the end of the day, weight is something you can fix. And I like that. I'm like, at the end of the day, weight is something you can fix. And that's the thing we don't want to hear, because that means we're not doing what we're supposed to do. We're just doing what we want to do. But weight is something we all can fix. If I could sit here and be down, I think I'm down 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds since January 1st. And I haven't lost 5 pounds, and I can't tell you the last time. Why? Because I realized that maybe it's not the program, maybe it's me. As much as I said, well, I think I'm broken. And because sometimes you got to do things slightly differently, and maybe just follow what you're supposed to do versus what you think you should do. You know, I'm even guilty of that. Being on plan since, what, 2018, I still make mistakes. I do. And sometimes life gets in the way, and sometimes things happen, and, you know, our hormones change, and our bodies change, and life changes, and sometimes we just don't understand what's changing. And so we have to take a step back and say, you know what, maybe I can do more. So, well, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this week's topic. It was really good. I love this topic. So let me know how your week went. Did you lose? Did you gain? What did you do right this week? I'm sure we did a lot of things right. Like, did you get snow? How much? Did you hunker down? Did that make you want to binge? Some people it does, and I understand that because it's just comfort. But that's why I made the chili, because chili's a comfort food. And I wanted something really comforting, and it hit the spot. Everybody said how good it was, too. What I did was, her recipe calls for 2 pounds of turkey. Well, the pack I got was 3 pounds. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm not going to save a pound of turkey. What are we going to do with it? So I threw the extra pounds. It was extra meaty, and I really liked it. So it was a win-win. Higher in protein. I know. So let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If not, hit that subscribe button. Join us here at Dish with Thee, where we are talking WW on Mondays, and we're going over the techniques and giving you some food for thought. So that is it. I will see you, my lovelies. I don't know if we're going to vlog this week. If everybody stays home because of the weather, I don't know if I'll be able to vlog. So we may have a sit-down video. We'll see. I have a couple ideas for sit-down videos. So we'll see. Maybe they'll go to work tomorrow. Maybe I'll have some free time. But I will see you, my lovelies, something very soon. Probably on Wednesday. I don't know what it's going to be, but it'll be fun.